another video. So today's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video.
Nigga, pay attention.
So I am back with another video. So before we get started, I just want to do a quick little sponsor shout out to myself. So my sister and I have started an African clothing and fashion brand, and we're going to be creating a lot of African fashion and mixing it with contemporary fashion. So I'm wearing one of the jackets that I made, and it is like, oh, you guys can't even see. Okay, so it is a denim jacket. You know, this is what it looks like. The sleeves are all, you know, like, it's not really Ankara print, but it's African-y enough. But just like that. This is actually one of the men's ones that I've made, and we are going to be doing this all summer. This is our new baby. Please support us. So if you guys don't mind pausing this video real quick, okay, just real quick. It doesn't take but 5 seconds to support a black business, and follow us on Instagram at Shop Motherland Materials. That is the name of our brand, Motherland Materials, because we were like, you know, we're going to be from the motherland, obviously African, and the materials are like the materials that we're going to be using to create all these different things. So look out for dresses, bomber jackets. We're going to try and do everything because African fashion is in, you know, and it's just another skill set that we have with sewing, and something that me and my sister decided to do together because we don't really do much together. So this is something we decided to do. So please just follow our account and stay tuned, okay? We're going to be dropping some merch. You feel me? All the YouTubers be like, buy my merch, buy my merch. No, I'm going to make my merch, okay? I'm going to make my merch. I'm going to make my merch. So back to the video. So the other day I was watching The Breakfast Club like I usually do. I usually try to keep up with The Breakfast Club only because I have my own radio show podcast. If you guys haven't figured that out, you guys can go subscribe to my other channel that is Raw and Relatable. I will link that down below as well, so you guys can check that out. And you know, I like to watch The Breakfast Club. I don't really always agree with a lot of things they say, like Charlamagne is wild, DJ Envy to me is kind of like, he needs to be taught more, and Angela Lee is kind of just there. I kind of feel like she's a bit useless on The Breakfast Club, but you know, unpopular opinion. And I just like to watch it. So I try to watch like the interviews of people because I like to see people who I haven't heard from in a while. Like Juvenile, I watched that one. You know, just different people that are out, like new artists, music people that I didn't know. There was a lot of things that I found out, like with the R. Kelly situation when I was watching Sparkle. Like I didn't know who she was. Obviously that was like kind of before my time. And once I watched that situation, I was like, oh, okay, I learned something new, because I am obsessed with 90s history, okay? 90s hip hop, urban history, I'm obsessed. If you guys know anywhere that I can watch more, let me know, because I'm obsessed. I like to know what happened before I was born or during the time I was born when I was young. Like I said, I usually only watch the interviews of people that I know. I kind of skip over the ones that I don't really know, but something just drew me to click on the one that I saw. And that was the one with Miss Taylor Rooks. And I was just kind of like, I don't know what drew me to click on it, but it's like the title says something about like pretty privileges and being pretty. And when I looked at her, it's like a woman who looked just like me, you know, darker, tall, you know, pretty points, and she had on like pink, which is my favorite color, and it's the most feminine color. And I was just like, this should be interesting, because usually when you see the word pretty, they're never going to actually like direct it to a girl that actually looks like that, you know? People don't really see darker skin as pretty as they would see lighter skin. It kind of is a fact of society, although it is kind of unfortunate, but we have been seeing a lot of like dark skin embracements and, you know, just dark skin coming up. But this time it just kind of drew me, because I was kind of like shocked. I was like, okay, what is this about? So I have composed this video into 5 main talking points because I was in love with the interview. I watched the entire thing. Definitely think it was a good look for black women, especially those of us that are brown or darker skin. So let's get right into this video. Point number 1 is that good representation for darker skinned women is possible. People don't think that it's possible. People just think that we're always going to have the horrible stereotypes, negative stereotypes, all the undesirable, unattractive things, such as maybe being overweight, not being able to speak well, not being someone that has a career, being someone who's not educated. And Miss Taylor Rooks, like, she has all of these things from watching the interview. I know we get the love in hip hop, you know, ratchetness, and being that we're only ever going to amount to being baby mamas, IG thoughts, and basically just the notion that there are a scarcity of good role models for black women, especially brown or darker skinned women. But in this case, clearly we do have a good role model. Like, it's actually possible. So I wanted to point out the fact that there is possible. It's really just who you focus on and who you promote. They are out there. We are out there, okay? Good role models, we are out there. But when you focus on the people who are just doing worse and not helping our culture whatsoever, you're gonna see them at the front of black role models for young women, especially especially within being a woman. There's so many role models for men, if you ask me. Like black men, I feel like you guys have a lot of role models. Unfortunately, most of them are gonna be like athletes and things like that. Not saying that that's a bad thing. It kind of is kind of taboo because it's like, wow, is this the only way that we can be a good role model, or are these expectations really something that we can live up to? But I feel like even for women, black women, especially darker skin, we barely have any decent role models, especially ones that are age appropriate. All the decent role models are usually like within 30s, 40s, 50s plus, whereas us younger girls who are teenage or in our 20s, we really don't have any like role models that we can just say, okay, this is the girl that we look up to. Like I can't really think of anybody off my head right now that is the role model for the black women who are younger. Like I can't think of that. Like we have great role models. We have a Keke Palmer, Ryan Destiny. Okay, we have people like that, but it's kind of like I can't think of that token person, where I feel like other demographics of people definitely have token people. Point number 2 is that black women, period, are capable of being good role models. Like I said, she is very educated, very poised, very well spoken. I feel like through the interview, I was able to learn so much more about her and learn so much more about what I wanted to do in my life, because she spoke on how she was young, but she just kind of went for her career, and her career has to do with her being in sports, which is a male-dominated field. So it's kind of like she does a lot of like journalistic things where she interviews a lot of upcoming athletes that are currently in the industries or leagues that they're in, and she just kind of puts them on the forefront and talks about their personal lives or talks about them in sports. And you know, to be a black woman, especially a darker skinned black woman in that industry that is male dominated, like it was just something commendable. So I just wanted to let it be known that black women are capable of being good role models. Point number 3 is that she is pretty. So they talked a lot about pretty privileges and, you know, her just being attractive. I know Angela Yee said something about how one time she was with Taylor Rooks, and you know, there was a guy who wanted to talk to Taylor but just couldn't work up the courage to come talk to Taylor. And I found it kind of like interesting that they really touched on like her actually being attractive. And you know, I'm looking at her, I'm just like, wow, like she really is pretty. Like this is a good role model. A lot of times, like I said, they paint the narrative that black women are unattractive, we're overweight, we're uneducated, we don't look good, we have undesirable features, coarse hair, short hair, big noses, fat lips, dark skin, whatever it may be. And here we do have someone that has the majority of the phenotypically black features being deemed as pretty. So yes, we can be pretty, we can be feminine, we can be cute, we can be popping and all of that type of stuff, and it is very much possible. Like I love the fact that they touched on the fact that she's pretty, because to me it was my first time really seeing a representation of a black woman that looks kind of like me, who is in the media and being deemed as someone who's attractive. Like, and that's really sad because we don't often see it. Like with Ryan Destiny, we see her as like this beautiful girl, which she is so gorgeous, but like I feel like people focus more on the fact that she's just dark skinned versus the fact that she's pretty and dark skinned. And it's kind of like I said in my one video that I made a couple months ago about like dark skin love only really exists online. People always want to talk about how she has dark skin rather than just saying that she's pretty. But in this case, it's like they talked about her being pretty. They didn't really talk about her skin tone or anything like that. Now, I did not want to end off negatively, but I did want to touch on, I guess you could call it the backlash, which is my 4th and final point. And I found it very condescending that in the midst of a conversation about a girl who is well established, educated, black, darker, has the phenotypical black features, is pretty, of course we have Charlemagne antagonist ass having to say something about it. Like he kept saying like, oh well, you're not that pretty, or like you're not all that, like you're kind of standard looking. And I feel like yes, he could have been being sarcastic, but I feel like his sarcasm was kind of driven by his true thoughts, because had that been a lighter skinned girl sitting there, he wouldn't have said that, because he would expect them to be attractive. Like he's had Queen Naija there, he's had Ella Mai there, he's had Cardi B there, he's had a lot of girls sitting at that table who are very attractive, who are pretty girls, but he doesn't touch on the fact that they're pretty. But once you see this dark skinned girl who is deemed as pretty, it's like he couldn't help but try to tell her that she wasn't, even if it was a joke, even though I feel like it was like a sarcastic joke, but like it was what it was. Like I don't know, I didn't like the fact that he tried to do that, because to me it's condescending, and it goes to show how a lot of men really think and how their true thoughts are about women who look like myself. Like he made subliminal jokes and he constantly referred to her as regular looking, as if this is just like the standard look for a black woman. And maybe it may be, but at the end of the day, like she still is a very attractive woman, and he couldn't even give her that. Like I don't know, I didn't like it at all. Even though the interview was great, I was just like, bruh, come on now, like just stop. So overall, I just wanted to touch on the fact that this was a good thing that I pointed out. I know a lot of times people tell me that I talk about colorism and it's negative, and oh, why am I so focused on it? Like what am I gonna do about talking about this? And it's like when you spark a conversation and tell people what is going on and have good healthy discussions, it can definitely make a change. And I wanted to highlight an instance where I actually saw a darker skinned woman being promoted as pretty, attractive, educated, and the things that they usually say darker skinned women or just black black women period are not. So I found it very interesting, and I was really kind of like motivated from the interview. And it's like, I don't even really want to do anything within her field of work. Like, I want to get into sports. I kind of want to do sports law and be like a team attorney for, like, let's say the Philadelphia Eagles or the Atlanta Falcons, and represent, you know, some of the players on the team and stuff like that. So I kind of want to dip into it in there, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not really going to be interacting with the players on like a social front about their actual playing life. It'll be like about back end things. And I don't know, it was really interesting to see. And I feel like from what I saw, she's a good role model. You know, she hasn't had any scandals yet. Hopefully there's nothing that happens, but I loved the interview. I followed her on Instagram. She's always working. You guys should also follow her on Instagram if you're looking for another role model for darker skinned women, especially those of you who are maybe college graduates who are looking for somebody to kind of like look up to, because I feel like we don't have that token one person that represents the darker skin or just black girls, the phenotypically looking black girls that are within our age range. Like, why don't we have that? Like, we really don't. Like, I kind of just really sat here and thought of that as I was speaking about this video. Like, we really don't have that. Hopefully we can find that person very, very soon. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Do not forget to follow me on all my social media networks, because you know, trying to be up, okay? I'm trying to get on that Instagram wave. Trying to have you guys on my Twitter. I'm about to come back on Twitter for real, because Twitter been popping lately, okay? Please drop your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. I want to know what you guys thought about the interview. Did you watch it? Watch it and then come back and watch my video. I probably should have said that first. I will have it linked down below as well. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.